The last battleship of Earth slipped into the Andromeda Galaxy with all the subtlety of a knife between ribs. Silent, deadly, purposeful. Its hull, scared from 100 battles across a dozen star systems, reflected no light. The vessel moved like a phantom through the darkness, its stealth systems rendering it nearly invisible to all but the most advanced detection arrays. Captain Alexandra Chen stood on the bridge, her weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of tactical displays. 30 years of service had etched lines around her eyes, each one a testament to hard decisions made in impossible situations. She'd been 27 when humanity first made contact with the Galactic Consortium. Now, with silver threading through her black hair and a permanent furrow between her brows, she commanded humanity's final hope. "Status report," she said, her voice carrying the quiet authority that had earned her both respect and fear throughout the fleet. Lieutenant Commander Davis looked up from his station. "Stealth systems holding at 97% efficiency, Captain. We're practically a ghost." "A ghost with teeth," muttered Commander Vihan Sharma, Chen's XO and oldest friend. He gestured toward the weapons display, where the readouts for the quantum torpedoes and gravitational disruptors glowed an ominous red. "All weapons systems primed and ready. If we need to bite, we'll leave one hell of a mark." Chen nodded, her gaze fixed on the main view screen. The central hub of the consortium sprawled before them, a sprawling artificial construct that housed the so-called enlightened races. Its spiraling arms of metal and crystalline structures glittered like a jewel against the velvet backdrop of space. Beautiful, if you didn't know what it had cost. 16 billion human lives, Chen whispered to herself. Not that anyone on the bridge needed the reminder. Everyone aboard the UES Retribution had lost someone when the consortium decided humanity was an evolutionary aberration that needed to be corrected. The consortium's initial diplomacy had been a masterclass in deception. They came bearing gifts of technology and knowledge, promising a golden age for Earth. For 5 years, they integrated humans into their galactic community. Then came the correction edict. First, they disabled Earth's defense systems they had helped build. Then came the methodical bombardment of major population centers. The consortium called it mercy, explaining to horrified human diplomats that their species' natural aggression and individualism made them incompatible with galactic harmony. Better to end them quickly than allow them to suffer the inevitable conflicts their nature would bring. They hadn't expected resistance. They certainly hadn't expected surviving human ships to scatter across the stars. Gathering allies among other species, the consortium had corrected or planned to. And they absolutely hadn't anticipated Captain Chen's audacious plan. "We're approaching the security perimeter," announced Lieutenant Sophia Rise from the navigation console. "Timing will be critical, Captain." Chen checked the chronometer on her wrist, a battered old-fashioned timepiece that had belonged to her grandfather. The diversionary attacks in the Cygnus and Orion sectors should begin in approximately 4 minutes. When they pull their defensive forces, we'll have our window. The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew what was at stake. If they failed, humanity's extinction would be complete. If they succeeded, well, no species had ever successfully challenged the consortium in its 50,000 years of dominance. Transmission Officer Lin's console suddenly lit up. "Captain, I'm picking up wideband communications. Something's happening." The main screen shifted to show distant flashes of light near the outer arms of the consortium hub. Chen felt her pulse quicken. "That's not right," she said, leaning forward. The attacks weren't scheduled to begin for another 3 minutes. Commander Sharma moved to Lin's station, scanning the incoming data. "It's not our people, Captain. The consortium is under attack from within." Chen's eyes narrowed. "Show me." The screen zoomed in on the disturbance. Dozens of vessels, bearing the markings of various consortium member species, were firing upon consortium security ships. The comms system crackled with fragments of transmissions in multiple languages, most untranslatable, but the tone was unmistakable. Rebellion. "This changes everything," Chen said, her mind racing through tactical possibilities. What do we know about these attackers? Science Officer Dr. Eleanor Wright spoke up from her station. Based on ship configurations, they appear to be primarily from the outer colonies, races that were subjugated but not eliminated. She paused, running additional analyses. Captain, I'm detecting communication patterns consistent with Terran encryption protocols. Chen exchanged a look with Sharma. Someone's using our playbook. Or someone survived who knows our methods, Sharma suggested. Chen felt a chill that had nothing to do with the ship's temperature. The Retribution carried the last known major contingent of human military personnel, but there had been rumors, hopes, really, that other pockets of humanity had escaped the genocide. Could this be confirmation? New plan, Chen announced, her decision already made. We're going to make contact with these rebels. They may be potential allies, or they may be fellow humans. She turned to Lieutenant Commander Davis. Prepare a narrow beam transmission using the old Earth emergency frequencies. Let's see if anyone answers. Davis nodded and began configuring the communications array. The bridge crew moved with renewed purpose, the unexpected development injecting fresh energy into their grim mission. Chen returned her gaze to the view screen, where the battle continued to unfold. After 7 years of running, hiding, and carefully planning their revenge, fate had thrown them a wild card. The meticulously planned mission to strike at the heart of the consortium had transformed into something unpredictable. Something dangerous, something hopeful. Message ready, Captain, Davis announced. Chen nodded. Send it. As the transmission beamed toward the unknown allies, Chen couldn't help but wonder if they were about to witness the beginning of the end for the consortium, or for themselves. The response came faster than anyone expected, and in perfect, unaccented English. Earth's children welcome their prodigal siblings. The revolution awaits your sword. Silence fell over the bridge of the Retribution. The message repeated itself once more, its implications hanging in the air like the aftermath of a thunderclap. Earth's children welcome their prodigal siblings. The revolution awaits your sword. Captain Chen's fingers tightened around the armrests of her command chair. 7 years of running, hiding, and planning had hardened her against hope. Hope was dangerous. Hope made you careless. It could be a trap, Sharma said, giving voice to the thought on everyone's mind. Of course it could, Chen replied. She stood and approached the tactical display. But the consortium doesn't know we're here. Our stealth systems are holding. And they've never bothered with elaborate traps for us before. They've always relied on overwhelming force. Lieutenant Commander Davis cleared his throat. The transmission originated from this vessel. He highlighted a ship on the display, a sleek craft with lines that suggested speed rather than firepower. It's registered as a Proximan diplomatic vessel. The Proximans were one of the first species to fall to the consortium, centuries ago. Dr. Wright looked up from her station, eyes wide. Captain, I've analyzed the battle patterns of the rebel ships. They're employing modified versions of Earth naval tactics, specifically formations developed by Admiral Zhou during the Mars campaign. Chen felt a chill run down her spine. Admiral Zhou had been her mentor at the Academy. Before the consortium attack, he'd been developing new tactical doctrines for space warfare, work that was supposed to have died with Earth. Send a response, Chen ordered after a moment's consideration. 2 words only. Zhao lives. Davis nodded and transmitted the message. The response was immediate, only in his teachings, and in us, his students. Chen exchanged a glance with Sharma. It wasn't definitive proof, but it was something. Knowledge that specific about Earth's military leaders and tactics suggested genuine human involvement. We're moving in, Chen decided, but we maintain stealth protocols until the last possible moment. Weapons hot, but no firing without my direct order. The Retribution glided forward, navigating the chaos of the battle with precision. All around them, consortium security vessels were being overwhelmed by the rebel forces, which seemed to have the element of surprise on their side. Multiple consortium heavy cruisers inbound from the hub's central defense ring. Rise warned from navigation. The rebels are about to have company. Chen studied the tactical display. The rebel forces were fighting well, but they were outgunned and would soon be outnumbered. The Retribution's original mission had been a suicide run. Deliver a quantum singularity warhead to the heart of the consortium leadership and detonate it, even if it meant going down with the ship. Revenge, not victory, had been the goal. But this changed everything. Lieutenant Reyes, plot an intercept course for those cruisers. Lieutenant Commander Davis, prepare to drop stealth on my mark and bring all weapons systems online. The bridge crew stared at her in shock. The plan had never included openly engaging consortium forces. Captain, Sharma said quietly, "Are you sure? Once we reveal ourselves." "I know," Chen cut him off. "But if these rebels truly include human survivors, I'm not about to watch them get slaughtered. Not when we can do something about it." She returned to her command chair, her decision made. "All hands, battle stations. We're about to introduce ourselves to the neighborhood." The Retribution surged forward, angling toward the incoming consortium cruisers. Years of running had forced the human ship to adapt, to modify itself with salvaged and stolen technology from a dozen different worlds. What had once been an Earth fleet destroyer was now something else entirely, a hybrid of human ingenuity and alien technology that had never been tested in open combat against consortium capital ships. "We'll be in weapons range in 30 seconds, Davis reported, his fingers dancing over his console. "Stealth systems disengaging on your mark." Chen took a deep breath, mentally reviewing the odds. The Retribution was powerful, but there were 3 consortium cruisers. Even with the rebel support, this would be close. Mark. The Retribution shed its cloak of invisibility, emerging into normal space like a predator from the depths. For a brief moment, the consortium ships showed no reaction. Then frantic energy signatures indicated they detected the human vessel. "They've spotted us," Davis confirmed unnecessarily. "They're charging weapons." "Target the lead cruiser's propulsion systems," Chen ordered. "Fire quantum torpedoes. Full spread." The Retribution shuddered slightly as it launched its primary weapons. The quantum torpedoes, products of human adaptation of consortium technology, streaked toward their target, their passage marked by distortions in the fabric of space itself. The lead cruiser attempted evasive maneuvers, but it was too late. The torpedoes impacted along its stern, and for a moment nothing happened. Then reality itself seemed to twist around the impact points as microscopic, temporary black holes formed and collapsed, tearing chunks from the cruiser's hull. "Direct hit," Davis reported, satisfaction evident in his voice. "Their propulsion is crippled." The other 2 cruisers immediately changed course, angling to bring their weapons to bear on this new threat. The Retribution's threat assessment systems blared warnings as energy signatures indicated multiple weapons locks. "Brace for impact," Sharma shouted. The first volley from the consortium ships slammed into the Retribution's shields, sending tremors throughout the vessel. Status displays flickered, and for a moment, it seemed as if the shields might fail entirely. "Shields holding at 43%, Davis reported. "Another hit like that, and we're in trouble." Chen opened a channel to engineering. "Chief Rosales, I need more power to the shields." "Working on it, Captain," came the strained reply. "But we're already redirecting from non-essential systems. These hits are worse than anything we've modeled." Chen turned to Reyes. "Evasive pattern delta. Get us some breathing room." The Retribution banked sharply, narrowly avoiding another barrage from the consortium cruisers. As they maneuvered, Chen noted that the rebel ships were regrouping, moving to engage the cruisers from a different angle. "Captain," Lin called from communications, "the Proximan vessel is hailing us again." Chen nodded. "Put them through." The voice that came over the speakers was female, with an accent Chen couldn't quite place, a blend of Earth regional dialects that had perhaps evolved in isolation. "Retribution, this is Commander Talia Rivera of the Freedom's Light. We see you've decided to join the party. Care to coordinate our attack?" Chen's heart skipped a beat at the human name. Commander Rivera, this is Captain Chen. Glad to know we're not the last one standing. We'd be happy to coordinate. We've been waiting for you for a long time, Captain, Rivera replied, her voice thick with emotion. I suggest we focus fire on the cruiser to starboard. My ships will target their weapons arrays while you hit their shields with those nasty quantum torpedoes of yours. Chen studied the tactical display. It was a solid plan. Agreed. On your mark, Commander. As the Retribution prepared to re-engage, Chen caught Sharma's eye. The question that had been burning in both their minds since the first transmission remained unanswered. How had humans survived in significant numbers without the Retribution's knowledge? And why choose now to reveal themselves? The answers would have to wait. For now, there was a battle to win. 3 hours of relentless combat had transformed the space around the Consortium hub into a graveyard of twisted metal and dispersing plasma. The Retribution hung in space, its hull bearing fresh scars alongside the old. Emergency systems bathed damaged sections of the bridge in pulsing red light. Shields at 17%. Davis reported, his uniform singed from an electrical fire that had broken out during the last barrage. Quantum torpedo reserves down to 30%. We can't take much more of this. Captain Chen studied the tactical display. 8 Consortium cruisers had joined the battle, and 5 now drifted as lifeless hulks. The cost had been steep. Nearly half the rebel fleet was gone, but the remaining ships fought with increasing coordination as the human commanders learned to work together. Captain, incoming transmission from Commander Rivera. Lin announced. Priority channel. Chen tapped her console. Go ahead, Commander. Rivera's face appeared on screen, streaked with blood from a head wound. Captain, our intel team has confirmed the location of the Consortium Directorate. They're gathering in the central chamber, all 13 species representatives. Chen's pulse quickened. The original mission, delivering the quantum singularity device to the heart of Consortium leadership, suddenly seemed possible again. The problem, Rivera continued, is that they've activated the hub's primary defense grid. No ship can penetrate it. She paused, and Chen could see the weight of what she was about to propose. But we have a team on the inside. Sleeper agents who've been embedded for years. They can let a small force in through a maintenance passage, but it would be a one-way trip. Chen understood immediately. A suicide mission, just as the Retribution's original mission had been intended to be. I'll go, Chen said without hesitation. Sharma stepped forward. Captain, this is what we came here for, Vihan, she said quietly. The only difference is now we have a real chance of success. Rivera's expression was grim. The passage will only accommodate 3 people, and one needs to be our guide. The window opens in 20 minutes. After that, the Directorate will disperse to secure locations. I'll be there with 1 officer, Chen confirmed. Send the coordinates. As the transmission ended, Shen turned to face her bridge crew. 7 years of running together. 7 years of carrying the weight of a dead world on their shoulders. Vihan, you have command of the Retribution. Sharma shook his head. With respect, Captain, I've followed you across half the galaxy. I'm not stopping now. The ship needs you, Chen insisted. The ship needs a commander who can ensure the mission succeeds, Sharma countered. Dr. Wright can handle the technical aspects of the device better than either of us. She should go. Chen wanted to argue, but knew he was right. The quantum singularity device required precise calibration to achieve the desired effect. The elimination of the Directorate without destroying the entire hub and the billions of innocent beings living there. Dr. Wright, Chen called. How quickly can you prepare the device for transport? The scientist looked up from her station. It's already prepared, Captain. I've been waiting for this moment since Earth fell. Chen nodded and opened the ship-wide comm. All hands, this is the captain. In 20 minutes, we execute the final phase of our mission. Throughout the Retribution, human survivors paused in their duties, understanding what this meant. After 7 years of running, the hunt was ending. One way or another, humanity would have its reckoning. Chen looked at the tactical display one last time, watching as the rebel ships regrouped, preparing for one final push to create the diversion they would need. "For Earth," she whispered. Chen and Dr. Wright moved silently through the narrow maintenance passage, following their guide, a slender, gray-skinned being who had introduced himself only as Varric. He claimed to be from a species that had served the consortium for generations, working in the shadows of the Great Hub's infrastructure. "We're approaching the central section," Varric whispered, his large eyes reflecting what little light penetrated the tunnel. "The directorate chamber is 2 levels up from where we'll emerge." Dr. Wright checked the compact case strapped to her side. Inside, the quantum singularity device hummed softly, ready to complete the mission they carried across the stars. "How much longer until the security sweep?" Chen asked, checking her sidearm for the 3rd time. 7 minutes, Varric replied. "We must hurry." As they reached a junction in the tunnel, Varric suddenly stopped, his head tilting as if listening to something beyond human hearing. "Wait." Chen tensed, her hand moving to her weapon. "What is it?" "A message from Commander Rivera. There's been a change." Varric's voice had shifted, losing its earlier nervous quality. "The directorate has moved. They're gathering in the Eastern Assembly Hall instead." Chen frowned. This wasn't part of the plan. Why weren't we informed via comms? "The battle has intensified. Communications are being jammed intermittently," Varric explained, too smoothly. "This way, please." Dr. Wright caught Chen's eye, a silent question passing between them. Something felt wrong. Rivera's team had been precise in their intelligence thus far. "I need to verify this," Chen said, reaching for her secure communicator. Varric's hand shot out with inhuman speed, gripping her wrist. "I'm afraid I can't allow that, Captain Chen." The maintenance tunnel suddenly blazed with light as hidden panels slid open. 6 consortium security drones hovered into view, weapons trained on the humans. "You've led us into a trap," Chen said, her voice dangerously calm. Varric's face shifted, the features rearranging themselves like clay. The gray skin darkened, taking on a bluish tint. "Not a trap, Captain. An opportunity." "You're a morphling," Dr. Wright gasped. "The consortium's shapeshifters." "Indeed." The being who had been Varric smiled. "And you are the last of humanity's military leadership. The final loose end." Chen's mind raced. The Retribution was engaged in battle. Rivera's forces were committed to the diversion. No help would come. "The real Varric?" she asked, already knowing the answer. "Dead, I'm afraid. As is Commander Rivera and her inner circle." The morphling gestured toward the security drones. "The human resistance was infiltrated years ago. We've been waiting for the Retribution to reveal itself." Chen felt cold fury replace her shock. "If you've known about us all this time, why wait until now?" The morphling's smile widened. "Because we needed you to lead us to your scattered human colonies, the ones even you don't know about yet." Chen froze. "What colonies?" "Oh," the morphling seemed genuinely surprised. "You truly don't know? How interesting. The Retribution isn't the last hope of humanity after all. It's merely the most visible one." Dr. Wright's fingers had been slowly working on the quantum device's case. Her eyes met Chen's again, this time with determination. "The consortium fears humans for a reason, Captain," the morphling continued. "Your species refuses to die. Like a virus, you spread, hide, adapt. But after today, the infection will finally be." The explosion from the Retribution's engines cut off the morphling's words, shaking the entire maintenance tunnel. Emergency alarms blared throughout the hub. "What have you done?" the morphling hissed, momentarily distracted. Chen didn't waste the opportunity. "Changed the game," she whispered. The explosion had knocked 3 of the security drones offline. In the chaos, Chen lunged forward, driving her shoulder into the morphling's midsection. They crashed against the tunnel wall as Dr. Wright dove for cover, clutching the quantum device. "Run," Chen shouted to Wright. Complete the mission. The remaining security drones recovered quickly, firing stun pulses that scorched the tunnel walls. Dr. Wright scrambled backward, disappearing around a bend in the passage as Chen grappled with the morphling. The shapeshifter's limbs stretched and twisted in impossible ways, trying to ensnare her. "Your ship is burning," the morphling hissed, its face contorting. "Your crew is dying. For nothing." Chen slammed her fist into what she hoped was a vulnerable point, feeling something crack beneath her knuckles. Sharma wouldn't sacrifice the retribution without reason. The morphling's laugh was like shattered glass. "Your loyalty is admirable, but misplaced. The explosion was our cruiser's doing." A drone rounded the corner, weapon charging. Chen rolled, using the morphling as a shield. The pulse meant for her struck the creature instead, sending it into convulsions. She wrenched herself free and sprinted after Wright, ignoring the burning in her side where the morphling had landed a blow. She found Wright at a junction, consulting a small holomap. "The real central chamber is this way," the scientist said. "I cross-referenced the hub schematics before we left the ship. The morphling was taking us in the wrong direction from the start." They moved quickly through the passage, hearing pursuit behind them. Chen's communicator suddenly crackled to life. "Captain," Sharma's voice came through, broken by static. "Vihan, what happened?" "We heard an explosion." "Not us," he replied. "We're intact." "That was the rebel flagship. It rammed a consortium cruiser that was targeting us." His voice became clearer. "Captain, we've received a transmission from—" "Well, you need to hear this yourself." The communicator fell silent for a moment. Then a new voice spoke, older, female, with the unmistakable accent of Earth's southern hemisphere. "This is Admiral Valentina Santos of the Earth Colonial Fleet. Retribution, do you copy?" Chen nearly stumbled in shock. Admiral Santos was on Luna base when it fell. She whispered to Wright. "She's supposed to be dead." The voice continued. "We've monitored your battle. Reinforcements are inbound from the Sagittarius colonies. Hold position." "Earth Colonial Fleet." Wright's eyes widened. "The emergency colonization protocol. They actually launched it." Chen remembered the classified project. Secret colony ships, sent to distant stars in the early days of the consortium contact. A contingency plan few had believed necessary. Apparently, someone had. They reached the entrance to the central chamber, finding it remarkably unguarded. The massive doors stood sealed. "The Directorate is inside," Wright confirmed, checking her scanner. "All 13 representatives. They don't know we're here." She knelt, working quickly to attach the quantum device to the chamber's environmental controls. "This will create a localized singularity, contained, precise. Just the chamber, no collateral damage." Chen's communicator crackled again. "Captain, this is Admiral Santos. Our fleet will arrive in 6 minutes, but we need you to stand down. Do not, repeat, do not deploy your weapon." Chen froze. "What?" "The Directorate members inside are not the true leadership," Santos explained. "They're figureheads. The real power behind the consortium is elsewhere, and we found it. Deploying your weapon now will only eliminate puppets while alerting the true enemy." Chen looked at Wright, whose finger hovered over the activation switch. 7 years of planning, of carrying Earth's vengeance across the stars, had led to this moment. Now they were being told to stop. "How do I know this isn't another trick?" Chen demanded. "Lima 7 Echo Tango Niner." Santos replied immediately. "Your father's fishing boat. The one you took out without permission when you were 12. Chen felt her breath catch. No one but the highest levels of Earth Command had access to that personal data. "We need the Retribution and its crew intact, Captain," Santos continued. "You're carrying something far more valuable than a weapon. The genetic repository of Earth's biosphere in your science bay is the last complete collection in existence." Wright looked up in shock. How did she know about that? "It's compartmentalized information." Chen made her decision. "Dr. Wright, stand down." As Wright stepped back from the device, the maintenance tunnel behind them filled with light. Chen whirled, raising her weapon, only to find herself facing not consortium forces, but a squad of human soldiers in unfamiliar uniforms. Her leader stepped forward, removing his helmet. Chen felt the world tilt beneath her feet. "Hello, Alexandra," said Admiral James Chen, her father, 7 years dead. "We have a lot to catch up on." Chen stared at her father, unable to form words. Around them, the sounds of battle continued to echo through the hub, but in this moment, they seemed distant and unimportant. "How?" she finally managed. Admiral Chen's face softened. "I was off-world when the attack came. Secret orders from Fleet Command to establish a fallback position. We've been building our strength in the shadows ever since." Dr. Wright stepped forward. "The colonies. 17 worlds." Admiral Chen confirmed. "Small, hidden, but growing. We scattered humanity among the stars before the consortium could finish what they started." A soldier approached with urgent news. "Admiral, consortium reinforcements are breaking through the outer defense line. We need to move." Admiral Chen nodded. "We've secured what we came for." He turned to his daughter. "The directorate in there isn't our target today. We came for their central data core, which we now have." He held up a small device. "The true power behind the consortium, an entity they call the Architect, has been hidden from even most consortium species. This will lead us to it." Captain Chen's communicator buzzed again. "Chen, this is Sharma. Whatever's happening down there, we need to wrap it up. The retribution can't hold much longer. Fall back to extraction point Delta." Admiral Chen ordered his team, then faced his daughter. "Your crew has fought valiantly, but this battle was never meant to be won, only to cover our real mission. It's time to regroup." For 7 years, the retribution had carried the weight of humanity's extinction, its crew driven by vengeance. Now, faced with the prospect of a new purpose, one of rebuilding rather than retribution, Captain Chen made her choice. "Sharma, prepare for immediate extraction. We're coming home, with company." The journey back through the maintenance tunnels was tense but uneventful. The consortium forces seemed more concerned with the data breach than hunting down infiltrators. By the time they reached the extraction point, 3 shuttles were waiting. As they boarded, Captain Chen found herself beside Admiral Santos. "We've been tracking the retribution for 2 years," the older woman explained, "waiting for the right moment to make contact. Your arrival at the hub forced our hand." 2 years. Chen couldn't hide her surprise. "Why not approach us sooner?" "Because you were visible," Santos said simply. "The consortium was always watching you. You were our unintentional decoy, drawing their attention while we worked in the shadows." Chen felt a momentary flash of anger, but it faded quickly. "All those years, thinking we were alone." "You carried humanity's spark when it mattered most," Santos said. "The retribution became legend among our colonies. Your crew's sacrifice gave hope to those who had none." The shuttle docked with the retribution, which bore the scars of intense battle. On the bridge, Sharma greeted them with visible shock at the sight of Admiral Chen. "Sir, but how?" "Later, Commander," Admiral Chen said. "Right now, we need to get your ship to safety." As the retribution and the colonial fleet's vessels disengaged from the battle, Captain Chen stood at the viewport, watching the consortium hub grow smaller in the distance. The structure that had represented the end of humanity for so long now seemed like just another obstacle, one that would eventually fall. "Where are we going?" she asked her father, who stood beside her. "Home," he replied. "Not Earth, that's lost to us for now, but somewhere humanity has taken root again. A place called New Terra." Dr. Wright joined them, her eyes bright with unused tears. "The repository will be crucial there. Earth's legacy lives on in those samples." "More than samples," Admiral Chen said. "The genetic repository, combined with what we salvaged before the fall, we've already started restoring Earth species on New Terra. The forests are growing again." Captain Chen felt something she hadn't experienced in 7 years. Genuine hope. Not the desperate hope that had driven their mission of vengeance, but something deeper and more sustainable. The real war is just beginning, her father cautioned, reading her expression. The architect has controlled the consortium for millennia. It won't surrender its power easily. Chen nodded, her gaze returning to the stars beyond the viewport. Then humanity will just have to do what it does best: adapt, overcome, and build something new from the ashes of the old. As the Retribution jumped to light speed, leaving the consortium hub behind, Chen knew that the galaxy's end had not come with Earth's battleship after all. Instead, they had found a new beginning. And this time, humanity wouldn't face the darkness alone.